Disclaimer: Omoni Oboli TV. There are some movies that entertain you, and then there are movies that quietly sit with your heart long after the screen goes dark. The Anchor is not just another Nollywood love story, it is a deep emotional journey into marriage, choices, and the dangerous pool of unfinished love. From the very first scene, you already feel it. This is not going to be a simple story. This is the kind of film that makes you ask yourself uncomfortable questions. What happens when love changes? What happens when commitment remains but feelings fade? And most importantly, what happens when your past comes back at the exact moment your present is breaking? A story that feels too real. The Anchor centers around Ufoma, a woman who, on the outside, seems to have it all: a stable marriage, a good home, and a husband who appears decent enough. But beneath that calm surface lies something many people are afraid to admit: dissatisfaction. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet emptiness. The kind that creeps in slowly until you begin to wonder, is this really the life I chose? And just when she's trying to make sense of her emotions, life throws her a curveball. She meets her ex. Not just any ex, but the kind of love that never really left. That moment right there, that is where the Anchor truly begins. The emotional conflict: love versus loyalty. One thing Omoni Oboli understands deeply is how to tell human stories. Not perfect stories, not fairy tales, but real, complicated, messy emotions. Ufoma is not a villain. She is not even weak. She is human. And that is what makes this story hit differently. Because as she reconnects with her ex, something awakens in her. Something her marriage has not given her in a long time. Suddenly, she's alive again, but at what cost? This is where the film becomes uncomfortable, in the best way. You find yourself torn. You understand her feelings, but you also feel the weight of her decisions. Should she follow her heart, or should she stay committed to the life she built? That tension carries the entire movie. Marriage is not always what it seems. One of the strongest elements of The Anchor is how it portrays marriage, not as a perfect union, but as work. Real work. There are no exaggerated villains here, no over-the-top evil husband. Instead, we see something more dangerous: emotional distance, silence, routine, and slowly, love begins to feel like obligation. The film subtly asks, is staying always the right thing, or is it just the easier thing? That question alone is enough to keep you hooked. The power of the past. There's something about first love or deep past love that never really disappears, and The Anchor explores this beautifully. When Ufoma reconnects with her ex, it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural, familiar, dangerously comfortable. Their conversations carry history, their silence carries meaning, and every moment between them reminds you that some connections don't break, they just pause. But here's where the film gets even deeper. Just because something feels right doesn't mean it is right, and that is the emotional trap Ufoma finds herself in. Performance and delivery. The performances in The Anchor are one of its biggest strengths. Every emotion feels believable. You don't feel like you are watching actors, you feel like you are watching real people navigating real problems. Ufoma's character especially is delivered with such subtlety. No unnecessary drama, no forced tears, just raw, controlled emotion. You see it in her eyes, in her hesitation, in the way she speaks when she's unsure of herself. Even the supporting characters play their roles well, adding depth instead of distraction. Direction and storytelling. This is where Omoni Oboli truly shines. The storytelling is simple but intentional. No unnecessary noise, no confusing plot twists. Everything flows naturally from the introduction of conflict to the emotional build-up and eventual resolution. The pacing is steady, allowing you to sit with each moment. And that's important because this is not a story you rush, it's a story you feel. The message: what is your anchor? The title, The Anchor, is not just symbolic, it is the heart of the entire film. An anchor is supposed to keep you grounded, to hold you in place, to give you stability. But what happens when the same anchor begins to feel like a weight? That is the question this movie asks. Is your marriage your anchor? Your past love? Your happiness? Or your sense of duty? Ufoma's journey is really about discovering what truly holds her down and whether she wants to stay there. What makes this movie stand out? In a world where many Nollywood films rely heavily on dramatic twists and loud conflicts, The Anchor takes a different route. It is quiet, it is reflective, it is emotional, and that's exactly what makes it powerful. It doesn't try to impress you, it connects with you. You might even find yourself relating to certain moments even if your situation is completely different. Because at its core, this story is about choice. And everyone at some point in life has faced a difficult choice. Final thoughts. The Anchor is not just a movie you watch, it's a movie you experience. It challenges your beliefs about love, it makes you question loyalty, and it forces you to confront the idea that happiness is not always straightforward. By the time the movie ends, one thing is certain. You will have an opinion, you will pick a side, and you will think about it long after. Rating: 8.5 out of 10. A deeply emotional and relatable Nollywood drama that trades loud storytelling for quiet impact and wins. Flicks and Feels, subscribe call. If you love movie reviews that go beyond just storytelling, if you enjoy deep emotional breakdowns of Nollywood films, and if you want content that actually makes you feel something, then you already know what to do. Subscribe to